Charles Oliveira versus Islam 2. Who do I have? When the first fight, I had Islam just because you never go against a Russian, but Charles Oliveira was coming with a great resume, one of the greatest finishers in all UFC. Now, let's take a look at his resume. He beat Tony Ferguson.
Yep. Look at what's happening here. Look what's happening here.
Oh, he's got him hurt. That's in deep.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh! He absolutely destroyed Michael Chandler.
For that jab early. Oh! Knocked down for Oliveira now. Now a knee to the body for Charles on the right hand. Chandler retrieves. Now Chandler is down. Charles Oliveira.
He beat Dustin Poirier.
Dustin's in real trouble. It's under the neck. It's under the neck. It's under the neck. He's going to tap.
Charles Oliveira.
And then he beat one of the greatest fighters out there, Justin Gaethje. Now Islam, the thing about Islam is that his resume isn't that good. He hasn't really beat any elite fighters, but he was coming off a win against Bobby Green.
He's trying to escape, but I think this is going to be it.
Referee's going to step in. Going to do it. Wow. Islam.
Now Islam, coming into this fight, his striking was very underrated. And I believe this striking power is what beat Charles Oliveira. Because remember, before he got him in a chokehold, he did knock him down. And even in round one, Charles Oliveira didn't have any response for his striking game.
FC 280 for 20% off today and tomorrow.
Expect Oliveira to go forward.
Islam with a big left hand early.
It looked like he hurt him.
Now Islam's wrestling also won him this fight because he had all the ground control throughout round one. So again, he was just tiring him out. He had Charles Oliveira on his back almost the whole round in round one.
Oliveira takes him to the ground here. Now Makhachev said he would take him down here. Not many people are willing to play this game with Charles Oliveira.
Here are the things that Charles Oliveira wasn't doing in the first fight that he should do in the second fight if he wants a better chance at beating Islam. Well, the first thing is he wasn't keeping his distance. If you see in the fight, this is how Islam was able to knock him down. He wasn't keeping his distance. He was going toe-to-toe with Islam, which was very dangerous, which is how he got knocked down. Another thing, and this was major, and this is exactly what happened in the first round. When he was up against the cage with Islam, he wanted to be in that clinch, but again, that's not his game. Islam was 100% going to win that game if they were up against the cage. So I don't know why Charles Oliveira was even trying to fight Islam when they were up against the cage. Because clinching and wrestling, Islam is always going to win 100% of the time. So it was kind of stupid for him to start off in the first round trying to clinch up against Islam, which is how Islam was able to drop him as well. And here's the major mistake that Charles Oliveira did in the first fight that he should definitely worry about in the second fight if he doesn't want to get choked out again. If we see here in this clip, we could clearly see that Charles Oliveira, when he was on the ground, almost about to get choked by Islam, he wasn't trying to get up. He was staying at the bottom. This is how Islam was able to close his hands and close the grip. If Charles Oliveira was to move around and try to get up in that position, Islam wouldn't be able to close his hands and then obviously get the chokehold. So this is where Charles Oliveira messed up. He was just chilling there, trying to fight him, trying to hit him with the elbows, but he should have been focusing on Islam, not allowing him to close his hands. Now, if Islam wants to win the second fight, all he really needs to do is just continue to go toe-to-toe. I mean, he could do his wrestling. He could go down to the ground. But if he really wants to make sure he wins this fight, I think he needs to go toe-to-toe. Because although people are saying that Charles Oliveira wasn't there and it wasn't his best performance, it doesn't matter. Because stylistically, Islam is Charles Oliveira's kryptonite. Not only because he's better at him at wrestling and, at going on the ground, but he's also better at striking. That's why I feel like if Islam wants to 100% make sure that he wins this fight, I think he needs to stand toe-to-toe and keep his distance.